Welcome to our podcast, When Life Gives You Lemons. I'm Kevin.
And I'm Palmy. We consider ourselves disability advocates and intend to highlight some disability issues and things we find interesting that we frequently encounter when we're out and about. Also, some history on disability that we find interesting. This year, we're going to include more of the interviews of the people that the disability affects. We hope you enjoy it.
Hello there. Today's episode will be about caregivers and the vital role they play in our lives.
I'm Palmy.
And I'm Kevin.
And you're welcome to When Life Gives You Lemons podcast.
A brief overview of today's theme. Some of us that are more severely impaired than others will require the use of caregivers. It's not an option. Some people have adapted to their condition and don't require any further help getting whatever it is they need done. Those of us that have a progressive condition all of a sudden get flustered when something else doesn't work, and we need at the bare minimum some emotional support in that moment.
And it varies too, because Kevin's been disabled for about 25 years, 28 years actually now. And in the very beginning, he did support, learning how to get around the disability. He went to mainly to get to and from doctor's appointments, physical therapy appointments, that kind of stuff. I was working a full-time job at that point, and so it became very impossible for me to work a full-time job, and that's where I ended up having to adjust how we looked at. I still had to work because we were only getting one income. We went from two incomes to one income, but I chose to work from home. I created a position where I could work from home and still be available for specific things like taking him to and from doctor's appointments, but I didn't necessarily have to care for him as much as I am now. So it has gone from minimal care, driving, because he wasn't able to drive, he wasn't able to take, but now he's not able to physically care for himself. So it progresses. The disability person with disability needs the care from a caretaker. So it's sometimes you need minimal care, like driving to and from, and it progresses to where it's full-time care.
And at this point, I'd like to interject that we need a shout out for my caretaker, Cece.
And that is, we'll talk about later about that. That is a caregiver. Respite is basically what she is. So that, because I am here 24/7 for him, and in order for me to get some relief, to go do things that I have to do, and to give me a chance to get away and take care of myself also, she allows me to do that without leaving him without someone to care for him and be here for him in case he falls or something like that.
Yeah, heaven forbid I get left here without adult supervision.
Well, you tend to do stupid things when you are alone.
Yeah, well, yeah, when you're alone, that's when stupid ideas come to you.
Okay, so getting back to it, some statistics, Kevin.
Before I get to statistics, what I'm going to say is, from the disabled point of view, we're looking for, maintaining our independence, our dignity, and our quality of life.
And that's important for a caretaker to realize also.
Yeah. And
you don't want a mom.
No, I don't want a mom.
You already have one.
Cece comes in here and checks on me like after she first got the job, you went through the resuscitation device you have.
Yeah.
Where you place basically a mask on my face. And
Well, they have to know basic care, how to resuscitate
no,
you.
I know,
how
but
to,
after that, she was so freaked out. It was like every time I coughed, she was like, "Are you all right?"
Well, because he chokes. He has a tendency to choke, and he can just choke on his own spit.
Yeah, that's my
He has a
superpower.
special talent. So I showed her what happens. She has to know these things, your specific needs. And so, and every person that came in, I mean, and to Cece's credit, she was not the first caretaker. We had multiple people come in here and they did not stay. She's the longest. She's been with us about 1.5 years. And there is a lot of stress. And I deal with that kind of stress on a 24 basis. I hear you choke now, and I know when it's serious and I know when it's not. But it's a lot of responsibility to have someone's life in your hands. And so she did. She was freaked out when I first showed her what happens if you choke and you get something down in your windpipe and she has to get it back out and stuff like that. So, yeah, it was kind of freaked out. We could probably have a interview with her for the caretaker's sake. That might be a good idea for this episode. But a lot of people deal with this on an ongoing basis.
Yeah, everybody knows this, but you have to find that doctor for your primary care that you're comfortable with, knows you, knows the history of your condition that you're dealing with, and things go along.
You just have to get the right person.
It takes a while to get the right person.
Right. There was many that did not qualify, did not stay.
It's the same with caretakers.
You're just stuck with me.
Yeah. As getting along with the statistics PMS for, there are over 53 Americans that provide unpaid care.
And that's the spouse, the brother, the sister, the family member that's taking care of somebody.
Usually it's either a family member or a close friend.
It's a thankless job.
Yeah. And even if you are paid,
still not enough.
I still don't think it's quite enough, but hey, it's good expansion for those in the medical field, if you will.
And when you're paid, it's a job, and you go and you do it and you go home. You don't have the responsibilities of like a spouse or a family member would do. When I took care of my dad, it was 24/7. It was, and heart-wrenching too, because it was your father you were taking care of. So you cared whether he was happy that how you were bathing him or how he was feeling, or, those things came into play also. So let's get down back to our podcast. What caregivers actually do. And this is basic stuff. So basically personal care, bathing, dressing, feeding, medical support, the medication, the appointments, the therapy, daily life management, transportation, shopping, bills, advocates, navigating systems and rights, emotional support, companionship and communications, real life examples, and short. So real life examples would be, like we talked about, personal care, bathing, minimal. Like if you had paid somebody to come in, they would only bathe you once a week. Well, that's not typically, especially when you're disabled and you're dealing with some additional issues, that once a week may not be efficient. So on a normal basis, most people bathe at least once or twice a week, or 2 to 3 times a week, So that's typically what we do. At least 2 to 3 times a week is what Kevin bathes. And it used to be harder for us because we didn't have a fully handicapped bathroom, but now he's more able to do more things because we had to remodel our bathroom. So it's made it easier for you to do it, more of it on your own. Yeah. Nodding they don't see the nodding, Kev.
Well, yeah, I think a better example of what you're trying to of your um, remark about advocacy and sometimes emotional support is I can't recall the exact date. You know how long this was a long time ago, and I'm not sure why, but I was getting like an X-ray. No, I know what it was. It was for when I had my first hip. Uh, what do they call that? I had a bone spur in my hip, and it had to be removed because I wasn't able to move it to the side at all without getting this bone-on-bone pressure, agony, pain is what it was. So they went ahead and x-rayed my left or my right hip, which was the wrong hip. It was on my left side. And they said, of course, they just assumed I was dumb or something.
That's the same story. It was an MRI, and they MRI'd the wrong hip, and the woman thought you were mentally disabled because of the way you spoke.
Right.
And so in front of you, she said, "That's okay. We'll just bill he has two insurances. We'll just bill the other insurance for the wrong hip, and we'll send him for an MRI of the other hip." And
bingo, just like that, I learned how to commit insurance fraud.
yeah. So she did that because she thought he could, and I wasn't there. That was the one thing one trip where I was not in the office. My sister had taken him, and so of course she didn't go in the appointment with him because the HIPAA law and all that. She didn't feel comfortable being there with him, and she sat there in front of him and just committed Medicaid fraud.
Insurance fraud, yes.
Yeah, insurance fraud.
Anyway,
so
the point being that I was trying
they
to
wouldn't have done that if an advocate had been there for him.
Correct.
Yeah.
But when I got home, I told you about the entire incident. And that wouldn't have happened without that feeling of trust and ability in your caretaker.
And it would, because it's embarrassing. You were embarrassed that they thought you were mentally handicapped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go with the types of caregivers. We kind of went on that.
I think this is the words caregivers and caretakers might be interchangeable. Unless you're talking about specific need-based, like I think we're going to get into that shortly. So, but I refer to Cece as my caretaker. I refer to Pommy as my caretaker.
Should be caregiver, though.
All the research I've done is just giving me caregiver. So if we switch back and forth, I'm asking forgiveness ahead of time. It's written caregivers, and I assume that's for a reason. Family caregivers, that is basically the name of a program that's available through the VA and through Medicaid. It allows those unpaid caregivers you're getting. So many people are getting help from their family, friends, or whatever. It allows you to pay for their time.
Well, these strictly are, what they're talking about here is just unpaid workers, or like the families.
That's correct.
Right. These are not paid people yet.
That's correct. And
You're supposed to be on 3. You did family giving, caregiving.
Oh, so you're done with 2 is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
So cut that out when you do the thing. You just did family caregivers, which is the backbone of U.S. caregiving.
Okay, right now I'm going on to types of caregivers.
Correct.
You have your family caregivers, and that is really the backbone. The vast majority of those that are giving care to you, unpaid care to you. You have personal care attendants, which are PCAs. They're referred to as PCAs in our outline.
That's a certificate job.
Well, I'm not so sure. For example, let's talk about the nursing profession. There's so many different.
Yeah. When Dad was in the nursing home, there was a PCA. All she could do was move him, and then she could take his vitals, but that's all she could do, and help him to the bathroom and back. That's all she could do.
Okay, so it's probably giving a nod to the fact that there are medical professionals that may have these credentials, but
Right.
I am doubting whether CC has these. She may have
No, she doesn't.
similar training, but she's not
No, she's not.
a certified PCA.
That's correct.
I believe that would be something that you would run across in the medical field,
I think she's considered a home health aide,
right?
which is the next one.
Okay.
Or she might be the respite caregiver.
Personal care aides. No, home health aides. Skilled nurses and respite caregivers.
That's probably what CC is, because she's not allowed to do any medications or anything like that. She's allowed to bathe you and help with bathing and stuff, clothe you and stuff like that, but no medications, I don't believe. And then her others are just to keep the house tidy for you. And see, some of these rules overlap, and some differ as far as medication. She's not allowed to give you medication or anything like that.
Oh, no, but part of her care for me, I know it sounds odd, but when Palmy is talking about some of the lighthouse work, I was going to say she doesn't mop floors, but she does.
Yeah.
We have a steam cleaner kind of thing that she really likes to use. That's why she mops her floors. Ordinarily, I think she would not mop the floors. She would just keep things tidy, vacuum or sweep.
Right. I have a steam mop that you don't really do a lot of mopping. You just steam it across because we have hardwood floors and we have dogs. So it basically gets rid of any mess that they might have on the floor. And it's more sanitary for you, and it gets rid of the dust because you have tons of allergies. So,
and just for the record, I probably drop more stuff on the floor than the dogs do.
Probably, but they clean it up afterwards, which is grosser.
Yeah, sometimes.
Okay. Can caregivers get paid? Yes. The overview of payment paths, Medicaid, consumer-directed care. I know there's several different things that you can apply for, insurance insurance things that you can apply for and become a caregiver through Medicaid. But your client has to be on Medicaid before you can even apply. So, and there's lots of restrictions. My dad, when he was on when he had a stroke, and my mom, when she was alive, they could never qualify. And it wasn't that they had a lot of money; they just owned a home, and so that was a deterrent as far as being on Medicaid. So they could never. They had to get rid of a lot of, and they had retirement and stuff like that. So you have to pretty much destitute to be on Medicare. It's very restrictive. Long-term care insurance, you can apply for that to get paid. Caregivers can get paid, but it's very expensive, and you have to plan that long ahead.
Well, and your insurance has to offer that as part of your coverage. That's really going to depend on whatever company you in the U.S. It's going to depend on where you get your health insurance from.
Right. Paid family leave. I do know that bigger companies, but in the past they have paid for that. But I think in the current future, I don't think a lot of companies are keeping that as part of the package deal. The VA caregiver programs, we are fighting that program right now, trying to see if we can qualify. And we've been turned down once already, and we're being reconsidered because of the change of situation with Kevin. So who knows? It is a long and time-consuming process. And so let's go on to the challenges of caregiving.
As are so many of the other VA programs they offer.
You have to be in it for long term.
Yeah.
So next one, Kevin, is number 5.
Okay, one of the things that the respite care that CC is so helpful with is it helps to,
We're going to talk about the challenges caregivers face.
Yeah, it's going to help with the preventing burnout and emotional fatigue.
Yeah, I have to grocery shop I get 3 days, 4 hour or 3 hours a day, 3 days a week. And what I do is I grocery shop. I do go to my doctor's appointments, and I go work out at a health club to maintain my health also, because I have to stay healthy in order to be able to do all the stuff that I do to take care of Kevin. And so that helps with the burnout and the emotional fatigue, because I've been dealing with this for 28 years. When we first started, the prognosis was 5 years. So that causes a lot of emotional stress. We've gone from everything from when it first started, I had a 2-year-old, to raising a child through all this disability challenges, Kevin's challenges, the child's challenges of growing up, to basically being a sole supporter of the family, for income, to, we eventually started our own business because we couldn't figure out a way of me working full time and still being able to support Kevin in a way that was able to do everything he needed to have done. So there's a lot of emotional fatigue in that, and handling the bills and everything else that has to be done by me, basically. So, and then what's the next one, Kevin?
Okay, the next category is isolation and lack of support, which I think
happens on both of us. I think that's for both of us.
No, yeah, but imagine, if you will, I had a situation going on that I grew up with. I never married. I'm living on my own. A caregiver, would, take away the need to at least you have human contact a few times a week. And it takes away that helpless feeling you have.
Right.
That comes with isolation.
Yeah, if you didn't have family support.
Oh, I can't go there and do this.
Well, you still have that.
Well, I do, but it doesn't compare to somebody who's on their own.
Right.
And
no family around them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For example, if you live in a very urban environment, a lot of bigger cities certainly have social programs like public transportation that are accommodating handicapped people, etc. I live out here in the boonies, so if I didn't have a caretaker to look after me and check in with me, I get the feeling of isolation real quick.
Yeah, but this is for issues with caretakers. So that we're talking about what the caretaker is going through for isolation and lack of support. So other than your family is nowhere near you. So my family, luckily enough, is, well, my mom and dad passed, but my sister is still here. So what's the next one? Physical strain?
Exactly, yeah.
So we have that when you fall down on the floor and I can't get you up. That's why I have to go work out.
Yeah, the problem that we have is when I fall over and somebody has to crate me off the floor, Pompey's nowhere near my size.
Yeah. Well, now I've gotten closer. You're tall.
Well, that's a bit of it. I weigh a lot more.
We're about even now.
Density.
Yeah.
Wise.
Yeah. Well, dead weight is just dead weight.
Dead weight is very hard to move around. That's something you have to go with in the military, but it's really, honestly, it seems a bigger deal in the moment because there's all these, oh my gosh, thoughts running through your head. Yeah. I'm fortunate in that I haven't really seriously injured myself yet.
I'm knocking on wood.
Yeah, I've been able to stay away from whacking my head on furniture and breaking limbs and things like that.
You broke an arm. That was long enough.
Yes, I had, but yeah.
Balancing work, family, and caregiving. That's a challenge for caregivers. That's what we were just talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, we don't have that difficult of time. Prior to CC coming along, there were still times when you had to run to the store, but thankfully you kept them short. So, like Pompey took weekend trips to New York or whatever. It's
No, I've never. In fact, my best friend and I have not seen each other in about 10 years, due to the fact we used to. We were able to go and do at least a girls' trip weekend somewhere, and we haven't seen each other in 10 years up until my daughter's engagement party. She ended up meeting me there, and we hadn't seen each other in about 10 years. So I just can't do things that you would do previously. So you just make sacrifices. So the next thing is support systems and resources. So area agencies of aging. We have really not found, every time we would go, and I'm just using Kevin or my dad as an example here because we did find a few things for Kevin early on. He used some resources when you went to the martial arts. There was a martial arts group that you use through a local agency, SADI. I can't remember what was
Which stands for the Southeast Missouri Alliance of Disabled Individuals.
Yeah. He took a class there to learn martial arts when he was trying to stay out of the wheelchair. We were told that if he used his muscles, he could keep as much mobility as he was able to keep, and he was able to stay out of the wheelchair for about 10 years. So we did take advantage of that, but other than that, we have not used much of the support systems in the area. But with my dad, I used the Agency of Aging, and we received several grants we had to use diapers and the medicine or the food. He had a feeding tube, and the food he had was not covered by Medicare. Don't ask me why, but and so we got grants to cover those things. The VA has been pretty good about supplying Kevin with the chairs and any adaptive stuff other than...
They've given us just bare bones stuff.
Yeah,
They've given us
was
wheelchairs. They take care of my prescriptions.
But not your clozapam.
They didn't help us with anything else we tried to get.
He was able to go to school.
Remodeling the house, buying our adaptive vehicle.
No.
Didn't know.
We had to do that on our own.
Yep. Yeah, that's a newer program.
Yeah, that was only a year ago.
With our current VA secretary.
Yeah. And you do get compensation money-wise. You do get a pension. So
okay, for a quick comparison of caregiver types, we're going to use examples. Family caregiving. The family caregiver is trusted and long-term.
The home health aide is trained and has daily support.
So I guess you can see the difference here is, you have advantages and disadvantages with each different type. Whereas with the family caregiver, they're trusted and long-term. Your family doesn't go away.
The home health care aide is only, it's not long-term. It's only for a specific time. If there's like if they've fallen down or they've been hospitalized for a little bit, they'll send them back in the house to give us a little bit of support until they're able to have the family get enough help to get them back on their feet again.
Correct.
And then
now the other one, the next one is the skilled nurse, which has some medical expertise that comes with that. But the only time I've seen anybody have a medical nurse visit them in home was your dad.
Right, after a stroke.
Yeah.
And it was only for a short time. He was on, not hospice, but he was on the one before that. Can't remember what it's called now. But they would come in once a week and check to make sure that, because he had a feeding tube and a pubic tube for his, to empty his bowels, his liquids. And so they had to make sure it stayed clean and cleaned and make sure that I was feeding him his right medication and stuff like that. But it was only once a week, so I was responsible for 24/7 other than that. He never got to hospice. He died just the weekend before we were going to put him on hospice. He had a massive stroke the weekend before we said he should be put on hospice. So closing thoughts. Caregivers are extremely important. I don't think disability people would be able to survive without them. I know you wouldn't.
Well, like I said at the very beginning, it depends a lot on the disabled person.
And what their disability is, too.
Correct. Some people have something that was discussed in here, a physical therapist that comes out periodically and be sure neglected muscles get stretched or used or whatever. I know that with your dad, they made you go to a facility to
Well, they
basically.
started it in home, and then he graduated out of home and eventually had to go to the facility.
Oh, is that how that
Yeah,
worked?
he could get so much time in home. Just with your same with your mom. She started in the home, and then she never got past the home part. He graduated out of the home and went to the facility, and did 6 months in the facility, and then he just couldn't do it no more. He kind of got where your mom was and got too weak. So
Yeah.
I can tell you right now that caregivers are not recognized enough, and they are the unthanked heroes of the disability world.
I think they are. I think if you honestly sit down and think about it, there's somebody in your life that feels the caretaker need, helps you do things that are difficult, or actually does them for you. I myself cannot drive, so we do have a more or less shuttle service that originally catered to disabled needs, but
Ineffective.
I think in this state it was via a court decision that if you're gonna haul people around, you can't discriminate and say, "Oh, we only haul around disabled people."
Well, they were given a grant, and so they have to give so many free, not free, but discounted rides to, because you have to apply for them. They have so many rides that they give to disabled people a month. People call in for them the first of the month and get little chips. So they're ineffective. There was a couple of times you relied on it because I was working full time, and you never got to your appointment because they were so late picking you up. Or I used it one time because we did not have a vehicle that was efficient to carry a wheelchair at that time for my dad, and I thought it'd be more efficient to use the shuttle, and we got stuck at the rehab for 2 hours in a very uncomfortable chair, and so that was not efficient.
Yeah, from what I hear, that situation still happens right today.
Oh yeah,
They
only
that
have so many
situation.
vehicles that will accommodate a wheelchair, and so in too large of an area. So, all right, any housekeeping?
I think I have a little bit. We would really, really, really appreciate feedback. And I'm going to challenge you to send us either via email or the chat we have on our website, where you can tell us your funniest caregiver story. Because if you think about it, everybody has one. It's something either embarrassing that, may not even be that big of a deal to other disabled people. But at the time, you may have thought, well, this is the end of the world. I mean, what is it I saw in a movie lately? Some lady slipped on the ice and just laid in her driveway and said, "That's it, world. Run over me now. Just do it. Run me over. Kill me now." That sort of situation. I wouldn't have to involve a fall per se. But to wind things up, we're always looking for feedback, especially if you think we should either revisit some of the topics we've already talked about, or if you have a topic that we haven't covered, let us know what you're thinking of. That way we'll be able to put out stuff that's interesting and not, yammer on about stuff you don't like.
Speaking about yammering on.
Okay, that winds things up, folks. So remember what we always say. When life gives you lemons,
Make lemonade.
Kevin and Pommy out.